good day for Media Day. Some really good news. You guys were picked to be first out there. What the initial thoughts when you have the coaches thinking that you guys are the team to beat?
Well, I mean, it's always a compliment, but I always go back to the fact that it's preseason. So our goal every year is to win a Mountain West championship. I know we can do it, so we just got to take care of the things that we can control. So it means it's a compliment, but it doesn't really mean anything.
And how do you feel about this team in the offseason coming into, going to Arizona State pretty soon with just the pulse of this team?
I'm excited. We've got a really good new blood and fresh faces, kind of coming in and really complementing our returners. So we have, our pitchers are all juniors now, so we've gone through those bumps, your freshman and sophomore years, and they're ready to take it up to the next level. So I have a good feeling about this team.
Is there another difference besides just getting older and more experience?
I mean, I think, we have some key kids that transferred in, and we have some key freshmen that I think are really going to help our program from the get-go. Alyssa Villapando, who's she transferred in from Hawaii, is going to probably play third base for us. She's been part of a program that also has postseason traditions. Malia Rivers, who transferred in from Georgia, who also was a big post team. So when you get kids in your program that have gone to postseason before, they know what it feels like, what it smells like, what it tastes like, and you add that with fresh talent and kids who are really hungry, who haven't gotten it done the last 2 years. I think that combination is really cool.
Do you think this is the year?
I think every year is the year. My expectation is we win a Mountain West championship. That's what our goal is every year. I don't think there's anything stopping us, and we control our own destiny.
How much are you using how close you got last year as motivation?
Yeah. I'm still bitter about last year. We don't talk about it very much, but I think from our players' perspective, it's motivated them. It motivated them all summer. We had our best conditioning session this fall, passing their tests. We're stronger. So I think, as a coach, it always motivates you, but the more important part of it is that it motivates the athletes. And so they still talk about it. So they still have that taste in their mouth. So it's just got to last for about another 56 more games. So.
Well, you talked about the infusion of new talent. You've got a lot of returning starters. What's the biggest sort of challenging vision as a coach in taking that? You have all the ingredients. I'll make cupcakes and it doesn't turn out always that well and stuff. Right. So what's the biggest challenge for you?
I think keeping them motivated, keeping them feeling good, keeping them together. It's a team sport, but you have to be 100% as an individual in order for the team to get to the goals that you need it to get to. So I think just making sure that the old kids are sharing what they've learned the past years, and that the new kids are on board. And so far, we've had nothing but great leadership from our returners.
All right, well, can we talk about pitching? Last year, y'all were pretty solid, especially with Joe Compton. What are some of those kinks that you are working on fixing up for this year?
Well, I think, your goal each year is to make sure your pitchers look different. So especially with conference play, you play the same teams 3 times. This is year, 4 or year 3, that they're going to face our same pitching staff. So our key is making sure that our pitchers, Jill's developed another pitch. Hannah is also going in that direction. So it's for us to be able to be different, to look different, to be able to keep them off balance year after year.
What about with your freshman last year, so there's Kira Willis, how she kind of developed into now in her sophomore year?
Yeah, I think, your freshman year is really hard. I always tease them, and Fisher will kind of attest to this, that it's kind of like we're talking in a foreign language that they've never heard. So it's just like noise is coming out of my mouth and you're just trying to survive. So this year she's really been able to make some adjustments, hitting wise, fielding wise, because it's starting to click. And your junior year is usually the year that it all kind of comes together, because you get it mentally, emotionally, physically, what it means to be at that level. And so I think with the combination with our pitching staff being juniors, and then we still have some great, underclassmen, I think, it's a good combination.
Coach, when you look at your team, kind of pitching, hitting, certain teams take on certain personalities. What's your team's biggest strength? What are they going to do well? And on the same, what do they need to get better at? What area do they need to improve on?
I think we're going to be gritty. I think you're going to see us really go back to the past Bulldogs of, outworking, you know, sliding hard, tagging hard, those types of things. I think that you're going to really see that with this team. We're still going to be, you know, very aggressive on the bases. We're going to make sure that we move runners and those types of things. But I think, you know, the grittiness of this team is going to be fantastic. I think, honestly, in order for us to stay kind of with it throughout the season, it's just believing in themselves, believing in the process, and that's just something I think mentally year after year that you always just have to you know, kind of refresh. And this year we're doing a lot of mental things. We have some charts that we're doing. We're having some visual boards for them. So just little things, you know, as a coach, when you go after the season and you're okay, what can I do better? What could, you know, we do differently? We're doing a lot of visual kind of mental preparation this year.
Am I reading into that you kind of see yourself winning with small ball in a way?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I mean, I think we have team speed, so, you know, I always say speed never has an off day, right? So we'll have some small ball, but we'll also have some kids in the middle of the lineup that they're going to hit, you know, to the, you know, doubles, triples, home runs, and so, you know, kind of a little bit of a balance.
Speaking of mental toughness, y'all are starting the season on the road. So is there a bit of an emphasis on, hey, we're not starting at home, let's kind of just stay tough, especially starting off the road record on the racetrack?
Yeah, I mean, I think each year we've started, I think my first year maybe we started here, but I think for us to continue to develop as being a strong road team is going to be huge for us. We've talked about it. We talked about it last year, about the importance of us winning on the road. And really in conference, we lost the Boise series on the road and then Nevada series on the road. So we improved greatly from year 1 to year 2, and I'm looking forward to us improving again. But really it shouldn't matter, and that's kind of what this team has taken on their shoulders. It doesn't matter where we're at. Come play us any day, any time, and we're going to beat you.
What sort of litmus test are you expecting from your team, given the fact it's early, but you guys have gone to the Country Howard Classic before, and what are you sort of looking for? Very early.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, last year we opened up against Oregon and shoulda, woulda, coulda that game. So I think they're now more familiar with that atmosphere, familiar with that tournament, and so I really look forward for them to feel like that's like a home, something that they're used to going to year in and year out.
And since your arrival, you know, you've overseen so many changes to this place, you know, with the raised fences, the new, you know, dugouts and everything, and obviously the news of the booster graciously given part of that to some of the more renovation stuff. Just talk about maybe a little bit about more changes coming for this place.
Yeah, I mean, we're just really blessed, and it's a special place here, as you guys know, but what we're going to end up doing at the end of the season, I didn't want to do it in the middle of the season, because if we hit any hiccups and we don't have nets for a game, that's going to make it a little bit tougher. But basically we're going to get rid of all the poles through the backstop area, and it will be suspended netting on cable, which is kind of what you see at the pro level. And then with that, we're going to get a new sound system, so it's going to be bumping in Bulldog or Margie Wright Diamond.
And obviously it's all about winning on the field, but again, just for a fan to come here, obviously they've seen the changes and there will be more changes again. How excited for the Red Wave are you to have them come to these games maybe a little bit more?
Yeah, I think our fans are second to none. If you talk to any of our players, they love playing at home. They love the atmosphere that our home crowd gives us. And like I said, I don't think anybody on the West Coast quite gets the game day experience that we do here in Bulldogs.
Finally, Coach, do you feel a little pressure, considering the tradition here, to get into an NCAA tournament?
I mean, yes and no. At the end of the day, you know, it is what it is, you know, and we prepare as much as we can prepare. We kind of get the team ready, and I know I can look at myself at the end of the day and know that we gave it everything we have, and we're going to make those adjustments and go back. And I think I want to, you know, show our players how we respond to failure, which last year wasn't what we wanted. And so how do you respond? Are you going to sit down and panic and be like, oh my gosh? Or are you going to get back up, dust it off, and go back to work? And that's kind of that type of spirit, that type of attitude is exactly what I want our team to look like.
Thank you.
All right.
Awesome.